Welcome back to Difficult Childhood, the podcast where we talk about growing up as Jehovah's Witnesses, waking up as adults, and leaving the organization to find a better life outside. So today we actually have a voicemail from a viewer who I think has a really great idea. And he has basically asked us to kind of workshop the idea for any adjustments, what our opinion of it overall is. And I do have some thoughts on his idea. And we also wanted to open it up to you, our community. What do you think about Eric the Viking's idea? So here's Eric. Let's hear what he has to say.
Good evening. You can call me Eric the Viking. I live in Norway, the battlefield of the Jehovah's Witnesses. They have won the second case, and the appeal is now going to the Supreme Court. So we will see how it goes there. I truly hope they lose this time, and this will start the ball rolling in other European countries. Although it's still doing that, it will be a case other countries can use to put a stop for this macabre organization. Personally, I am a third generation JW. I've been a PMO for many years. I just didn't know about the term, and I was too afraid to look into apostate YouTube videos. But recent years I have now, and I really see the madness of this organization. I faded a couple of years ago, and I've been fairly successful at it, and I've still been able to keep a relatively okay relation with my family, thankfully. I am very glad my children will never have to endure the trauma I had to experience growing up in this organization. I will give them a good life. They will have a good education. They will not waste their life like I have. I'm in my mid-40s now, and although I'm still in good health and, life is good, and I secured new jobs, new relationship, and, making decent money. When you hit your 40s, you have enough of this BS. You realize that you're almost in the middle of your life, and enough is enough. So I have a quick idea. I am making QR codes. It will have a little JW door logo, but the QR code will be led to either JW Fax or Avoid JW. I'm not entirely sure yet. The goal is to not plaster them inside Kingdom Hall property, because that would be vandalism, but maybe between the Kingdom Hall and a mall, a Kingdom Hall and a pizza shop or McDonald's or restaurant area. So my goal is to try to reach the younger generation, maybe even those who are not even baptized yet. And I wonder what you guys think of it. Maybe it can be an idea for others. I've given up, people at my own age is already too, the sunk cost fallacy, is too high for them already. But I don't want the younger generation to suffer the same as me. And if I could give them some help and some information in reasonable time, they can even avoid getting baptized. So I'm going to order a lot of these QR codes from China, Alibaba, or Temu or something, and I will start hanging them up between Kingdom Hall and areas I believe the younger generations hang out. Thank you very much, and please continue your good job, and please give me a feedback if you would like my idea. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Eric. I do like your idea. I think it's a great idea. I do have a couple thoughts, and I noticed that around 50-second mark, you said you didn't really know the terminology that a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses use, the shorthand like PMO, physically in, mentally out. And that's pretty common because you said, in fact, you hadn't even gone on any so-called apostate channels. And so that makes sense because that indoctrination teaches us to stay away from apostates. In fact, I was dating someone, and she was trying to help me kind of wake up. I was first out. And she said, look at this XJW subreddit. And I said, no, I can't look at that. I mean, they're just all angry. They're just apostates. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't the true religions. That's why I'm backing away from it. But they're not the toxic organization that those guys make them out to be. Well, that was years and years ago. I was very early in my deprogramming and waking up, so I couldn't see that people they call apostates are just trying to help. So, of course, there's angry people among the apostates because it is an infuriating thing. But that brings up a really good point, I think, and that is about the design idea of your QR code stickers. Now, your idea obviously being to put up QR codes that stimulate curiosity and people scan them. And I don't know if I understood correctly, but I think you said something about connecting or having the jw.org logo on them and then a QR code that goes to somewhere like Avoid JW or JW Facts. And although I think sending them that direction, because like JW Facts is fantastic, I was thinking that maybe it should be clear that it is critical thinking conversation that's being opened up. Because if somebody scans that thinking it's going to jw.org and it goes somewhere else, the first thing they're going to think is, oh, apostate lied. They tried to trick me. That was deceitful. That proves that they are deceitful. And that'll reinforce that programming, those defenses that Jehovah's Witness leadership put in place in all of their members. However, I think what could be done is something a little bit more like, I had some notes here, maybe what they don't tell you in the Kingdom Hall, or something shorter, the JW history they left out, JW facts they'll never print. Now, avoid bold things like exposing the truth about the truth, or they are lying to you, the governing body, something like that. Avoid that stuff, because that stuff will trigger the defenses of even the more moderately indoctrinated person, if that's a thing. So I would say be really transparent that it is factual, but also critical, because then those people, it's gonna help two groups. It wouldn't help the group that's fully indoctrinated one way or another, so that doesn't matter. But it's going to help two groups, I think: those who are maybe studying with or being called on, or just thinking, hey, what's the deal with those Jehovah's Witnesses? It'll help those guys because they will scan it and go, oh, really? They'll still have their critical thinking hopefully intact. And it'll also help the younger kids that aren't yet baptized, the teenagers that are, thinking of maybe going to college and I don't know about this religion, but they haven't been shared all that information about the history of Jehovah's Witnesses, all the stuff that they don't share. That hasn't been, shared with them, and they haven't received that information. So I would say go with something like that, a QR code. You could even brand it with similar colors as jw.org, but so that it catches the eye. But then I would say make it clear that it is not at all going to direct them to jw.org, because I think that will just reinforce their persecution complex. Oh, look at those sneaky apostates, and I definitely don't want to give that impression. So anyway, that's my idea there. That's my thoughts on that. We're going to open it up to you guys. How could such an idea be executed? For with Eric here, I think it's a great idea. Obviously, we don't want to put it on Kingdom Hall property. That is vandalism, like you said. But I think it's a great idea of putting it places where the younger generation is present. Those people, like I said, who are already studying, or those people who are kids of JWs, so that they don't get dragged into it like we did, and they can lead like I said, a better life on the outside. I also noticed that recently we've seen quite a few examples, and it is rare, you're right, older Jehovah's Witnesses who have sunk so much into the organization, they are experiencing the sunk cost fallacy. I mean, my dad has been in for 50 plus years. My mom has been in since she was 5. It's their whole lives. So they really can't psychologically cope with giving it up. But I do have a friend who has been in her whole life, or her mother has been in her whole life, and her mother's in her 70s, and her father recently quit the theocratic ministry school and stopped pioneering, and her mother's asking questions. So it does happen. And I've seen people online, I woke up at, 67, 85, that's younger, obviously, 67, but people who have put in decades already can wake up. So that's cool too. But man, I really love your idea of specifically tailoring this to those younger kids so that their lives and their time can be saved. I think that's beautiful, Eric. I love it. It's super positive. I do feel the feeling you mentioned. I'm turning 45 next month, and I did waste 2.5 decades of my life, my adult life, inside the organization, and of course, all my childhood. So, man, we don't want that for other people. I think it's a great idea. Everyone, please give your comments. You can also, if you have something longer to share, more in depth about this idea, feel free to go to speakpipe.com/difficult childhood and leave us a message there. Let us know what you think really would make a positive difference in this idea. And if you have any other ideas for, spreading the good news, the actual good news about how good life is on the outside. If you like this content, please do like and subscribe. We'll be back next weekend with more content. And I think we're going to do a live next weekend. So please do subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. I'm going to go see Superman instead of go out in service. Cheers.
Grew up in shadows, now I'm free. Dysfunction behind me, hope inside. New family found, safe and sound. Past was dark, but I'm not bound.